You probably already know that what you eat can affect your heart. But here's the part most people overlook. What you drink can be just as powerful, for better or for worse. I've seen people who try so hard to eat clean, to take their supplements, to walk every morning. But their daily drinks quietly undo all that progress. And over the years, that can take a real toll on your heart, the one muscle you can't afford to neglect. Today, I want to talk to you about something that could literally save your heart health. 5 drinks that may seem harmless, even healthy, but are actually some of the worst for your heart. And as I go through each one, I'll also share what I recommend instead. Simple swaps that can strengthen your cardiovascular system, balance your blood pressure, and support your energy naturally. Now, before we dive in, let me ask you something. When you think about heart-healthy living, what comes to mind first? Most people say diet, cholesterol, or exercise. But how often do you think about your morning coffee, your favorite weekend drink, or that beverage you sip when you're tired in the afternoon? I'd love to hear your honest answer in the comments below, because awareness is the first step toward change. So let's begin. And as you listen, I want you to think about your own daily habits, because sometimes just removing 1 or 2 of these drinks can make your heart feel stronger within weeks. Let's start with one of the sneakiest culprits, sugary drinks. You might be thinking, oh, I already know sugar is bad. But here's the thing. It's not just about your waistline or your teeth. When you drink something high in sugar, like soda, sweetened iced tea, or those fancy coffee drinks loaded with syrups, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. Your body responds by releasing insulin, and over time, these repeated spikes make your cells resistant to insulin's effect. That resistance leads to inflammation, and chronic inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of heart disease. I've seen patients who didn't eat desserts at all, but they drank a can or 2 of soda a day and couldn't understand why their triglycerides were high, why their energy was low, or why their blood pressure kept creeping up. The truth is, your heart doesn't care where the sugar comes from. Liquid sugar is actually worse because it hits your bloodstream faster than solid food, giving your pancreas and liver a heavy load to handle all at once. And there's another layer. Sugary drinks don't make you full. You can drink 300 calories of soda or fruit punch and still feel hungry. That means you'll eat more overall, and over time, that extra weight puts even more pressure on your heart. It's a silent chain reaction. So, what can you do instead? If you love that sweet, refreshing taste, start with naturally flavored water. Slice up some lemon, cucumber, or berries and let them infuse overnight. It gives you a gentle flavor without the sugar hit. You can also try sparkling water with a splash of 100% fruit juice. It's satisfying, hydrating, and heart-friendly. And if you crave energy, green tea is an amazing alternative. It has antioxidants called catechins that can help improve blood vessel function and reduce oxidative stress. The second drink I want to talk about is energy drinks. These are marketed as quick fixes. Get more done, boost performance, stay awake. But what they actually do is push your cardiovascular system into overdrive. The combination of high caffeine, added sugars, and stimulants like guarana or taurine can sharply increase your heart rate and blood pressure. I've seen young, otherwise healthy adults come in with heart palpitations, chest tightness, or anxiety attacks after drinking just 1 or 2 cans. You see, caffeine itself isn't evil. In moderation, it can even have heart protective effects. But in energy drinks, the problem is the dose, and the combination A single may contain as much caffeine as 3 or 4 cups of coffee. And when you mix that with sugar, your body's stress hormones spike. That triggers a fight or flight response. Your heart beats faster, your vessels constrict, and over time, this pattern can strain the cardiovascular system. For someone who already has hypertension or an irregular heartbeat, energy drinks can be downright dangerous. And here's something people rarely talk about. Energy drinks can also deplete your magnesium and potassium levels, 2 minerals your heart absolutely needs to maintain a steady rhythm. So even if you feel energized at first, the long-term cost is real fatigue, anxiety, and sometimes even arrhythmia. If you rely on energy drinks to get through the day, Ask yourself why. Are you sleeping enough? Are you hydrating well? Because your heart is sending you messages all the time. Fatigue, tension, and brain fog are not just things to mask. They're signals to listen to. If you need a pick-me-up, go for something natural like green tea, yerba mate, or even just a tall glass of water with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. You'll be surprised how much genuine energy comes from proper hydration and mineral balance. Now let's move to the third drink, and this one might surprise you: alcohol. We've been told for years that a little wine might be good for the heart. You've probably heard of the French paradox, that people who drink red wine seem to have lower rates of heart disease. But when you look at the larger body of research, the picture is not as rosy as it sounds. Here's the truth. Alcohol raises your blood pressure, increases triglycerides, and adds extra calories that can lead to weight gain around the midsection, the most dangerous type of fat for your heart. And even moderate drinking, when done regularly, can affect your heart rhythm. One of the most common issues I see in middle-aged adults who drink socially is something called holiday heart syndrome. That's when you experience irregular heartbeat or palpitations after drinking, even if it's just a few glasses. Your heart doesn't like the stress of alcohol metabolism, and it responds by becoming electrically unstable for a short time. And beyond the immediate effects, alcohol increases oxidative stress, meaning it promotes the formation of free radicals that damage cells, including the cells that line your arteries. Over years, this contributes to atherosclerosis, where those arteries stiffen and narrow. That's a slow process, but it begins with small daily choices. Now, I'm not here to shame anyone who enjoys an occasional drink. I understand the social, cultural, and emotional side of it, but what I tell my patients is this: drink consciously. Don't make alcohol part of your routine. Have it occasionally, savor it, and balance it with plenty of hydration and antioxidants from real foods like berries, greens, and nuts. And if you can, take a month off completely and see how your heart and mind feel. Most people are shocked by how much better they sleep, how their blood pressure drops, and how their mood improves. The fourth drink on this list is commercial fruit juice, the kind you buy in bottles or cartons that say 100% natural, no added sugar, or fortified with vitamin C. This one confuses many people because fruit juice sounds healthy. After all, it comes from fruit, right? But when fruit is turned into juice, you lose most of its fiber, and fiber is what slows down sugar absorption and keeps your blood sugar stable. Without it, that juice behaves just like soda in your bloodstream. A single glass of orange juice can have as much sugar as several oranges, but without the fiber to balance it out, that sugar rush makes your pancreas release insulin, and when that happens repeatedly, your triglycerides go up, your liver stores more fat, and your heart pays the price. I've seen people who switched from soda to juice thinking they were being healthy, but their blood sugar numbers barely improved. Now, fresh homemade juice can be okay in small amounts, especially if it's mostly vegetables with a touch of fruit for flavor. But even then, it's best to treat it as a supplement, not a drink. The real heart-healthy choice is to eat the whole fruit. When you chew, you engage your digestive system in a natural, balanced way. You get fiber, enzymes, and a slower release of nutrients that your body can handle gracefully. And if you want a refreshing, naturally sweet drink, try blending instead of juicing. A smoothie made with whole fruit, some greens, and a little protein like yogurt or chia seeds keeps your blood sugar steady and supports your heart with antioxidants, fiber, and minerals. Now let's talk about the fifth drink. And this one is often hiding in plain sight: highly processed coffee beverages. Coffee itself isn't the enemy. In fact, in moderate amounts, black coffee can improve alertness, support liver function, and even reduce the risk of some chronic diseases. But when you turn coffee into dessert, with whipped cream, caramel drizzle, flavored syrups, and whole milk, it becomes a heart burden. Many of these drinks have more sugar and calories than a full meal, and because they're liquid, you absorb it all very quickly. The caffeine plus sugar combo can also lead to temporary spikes in blood pressure and heart rate, followed by a crash that leaves you irritable and tired. If you drink this kind of coffee daily, your heart stays in a cycle of stimulation and depletion, which over time can exhaust your adrenal system and make you more prone to hypertension. If you love your coffee ritual, here's what I recommend. Go for simple, clean versions. Black coffee, or with a small splash of milk or a natural sweetener like stevia or a touch of honey, add cinnamon instead of syrup. It helps regulate blood sugar and gives that cozy flavor without harm. And try to keep it under 3 cups a day, ideally before noon, so your heart and sleep rhythm both stay balanced. But beyond these 5 drinks, I want you to take away something deeper. Your heart health is shaped not just by what you avoid, but by what you nourish it with. As a doctor, I've seen over and over that the heart responds beautifully to care. When you give it hydration, rest, and nutrients, it starts to recover, even after years of strain. So, once you cut back on those harmful drinks, it's important to fill that space with something good, because replacing is always easier than restricting. Let's talk about what your heart loves. First, your heart loves water. Plain, simple water. It may sound obvious, but dehydration is one of the most overlooked stressors on the cardiovascular system. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, your heart has to pump harder, and your blood pressure can rise. I often tell my patients, your heart is a pump. Give it fluid to work with. Aim for at least 8 glasses a day, more if you're active or live in a warm climate. And don't wait until you feel thirsty. By then, your body's already signaling distress. Add a pinch of mineral-rich salt or squeeze in some lemon for flavor and electrolytes if you like. That can make hydration more efficient. And remember, hydration also supports your blood vessels' flexibility. When they're well hydrated, they expand and contract smoothly, helping you maintain stable blood pressure. Second, your heart loves green tea and herbal infusions. Green tea, especially varieties like sencha or matcha, is rich in antioxidants called catechins. These compounds help reduce oxidative stress, one of the underlying causes of arterial stiffness and plaque buildup. I often recommend 1 or 2 cups a day for a gentle, sustained energy boost that doesn't spike your heart rate like energy drinks do. Herbal teas like hibiscus, rooibos, and chamomile are also fantastic. Hibiscus tea, in particular, has been shown in several studies to lower blood pressure naturally. Now, as we go through this, I want you to reflect for a moment. Which of the 5 drinks we've talked about do you find hardest to let go of? Is it the morning coffee treat, the evening glass of wine, or the afternoon soda? I'd love for you to share that in the comments. You'd be amazed how many people are struggling with the same habit. And sometimes sharing your story inspires someone else to take their first step too. One thing I tell my patients is this: you don't have to quit everything at once. Change works best when it's compassionate, not extreme. Start by identifying the drink that appears most often in your routine, the one you reach for automatically. Then, replace it with something that gives you a similar feeling but supports your heart. For example, if you love the comfort of a warm drink, switch from a sugary latte to herbal tea with cinnamon and a bit of oat milk. If you crave something fizzy in the afternoon, replace soda with sparkling water infused with citrus. It's not about deprivation, it's about smart substitution. Because the truth is, every small step you take helps your heart heal. The body is remarkably resilient. It wants to come back into balance. Even after decades of strain, your arteries can become more flexible, your blood pressure can improve, and your energy can rise again when you stop putting your heart under daily stress. Now, let's talk about why these drinks do so much damage beyond the surface level. It all comes down to what I call the silent triad of heart strain: inflammation, insulin resistance, and dehydration. Most harmful drinks trigger at least one, and often all 3. Sugary drinks and fruit juices create insulin resistance. That means your cells stop responding well to insulin, so your body has to produce more and more just to keep your blood sugar stable. High insulin leads to fat storage, particularly around your belly, and that kind of visceral fat releases inflammatory chemicals that stiffen arteries and raise blood pressure. Energy drinks and processed coffee beverages trigger inflammation and dehydration. The caffeine and additives cause your adrenal glands to release stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, which increase heart rate and constrict blood vessels. Combine that with the diuretic effect of caffeine, and you lose more water, thickening your blood. Over time, your heart works harder just to keep things moving. Alcohol triggers all three. It dehydrates, disrupts blood sugar regulation, and promotes inflammation through liver stress. Even small amounts on a regular basis can keep your body in a low-level state of repair that never fully catches up. When these effects accumulate, they create a subtle but dangerous condition I call quiet heart fatigue. It's when your heart is technically fine, no pain, no clear symptoms, but it's tired. You feel it as fatigue, poor recovery after exercise, shortness of breath when climbing stairs, or an anxious, fluttery feeling at night. These are early warning signs that your cardiovascular system is asking for help. And one of the simplest ways to help is to look at your drink choices. Think about your daily rhythm. What's the first thing you drink in the morning? What's the last thing you sip before bed? These bookends matter. They set the tone for your blood sugar, your hydration, and your heart rate across the day and night. If you start your morning with a sugary coffee or energy drink, your blood sugar spikes and crashes before lunch. That roller coaster keeps your stress hormones high all day, and your heart never gets to relax. On the other hand, starting your day with warm water and lemon or green tea gives your heart a calm start. It hydrates, boosts circulation, and supports liver detox, all of which lighten your cardiovascular load. At night, if you unwind with alcohol, your heart rate stays elevated even while you sleep. Your REM cycles get shorter, and your body doesn't recover properly. But if you end the day with chamomile or magnesium-rich cocoa without added sugar, your parasympathetic nervous system activates. That's the rest and repair mode your heart loves. You'll sleep deeper, your blood pressure will drop naturally, and you'll wake up refreshed. One of the most powerful things you can do for your heart, starting today, is to reclaim those morning and evening drinks. Choose them with intention. That simple change alone can transform how your cardiovascular system feels and functions. Now, I want to tell you about something I've seen repeatedly in my practice. People come in convinced they need medication or complex diets to improve their heart health. But often, we start with something as small as replacing their afternoon soda or evening drink. 3 months later, their blood pressure drops by 10 points, their cholesterol improves, their energy stabilizes, and their confidence soars because they realize they're in control again. That's the power of awareness. If you've been feeling tired, moody, or bloated, or if your blood pressure has been creeping up slowly, take a good look at what's in your glass. You might be surprised how much relief comes from subtraction, not addition. Let's take a moment to recap the 5 drinks to watch out for. And more importantly, why? Number 1, sugary drinks. They cause blood sugar spikes, inflammation, and weight gain. The fix? Hydrating alternatives like infused water or herbal teas. Number 2, energy drinks. They overstimulate your heart and deplete vital minerals. The fix? Natural energy sources like green tea or mineralized water. Number 3, alcohol. Even moderate amounts can raise blood pressure and disrupt heart rhythm. The fix? Conscious, occasional drinking, or choosing non-alcoholic herbal tonics instead. Number 4, fruit juice, especially store-bought ones. They overload your system with sugar minus the fiber. The fix? Eat whole fruits or blend smoothies instead. Number 5, processed coffee beverages. The sugar and additives counteract the benefits of coffee. The fix? Keep coffee simple, black or lightly sweetened with natural ingredients. The pattern here is clear. Drinks that stress your system have one thing in common. They push your heart to do more work without real nourishment. The drinks that support your system, on the other hand, calm, hydrate, and balance. They make your heart's job easier. I want you to imagine something for a second. Your heart beating around 100,000 times a day, pumping life into every cell of your body. That rhythm has been constant since before you were even born. It never rests. It never complains. It just asks for the right conditions to keep doing its job. When you choose water over soda or tea over alcohol, you're giving your heart a moment of ease, a breath of relief it can actually feel. Your heart health is not just about avoiding heart attacks or disease. It's about how you feel every single day, your energy, focus, patience, and mood. A calm, well-nourished heart supports your brain, your hormones, and even your emotional resilience, because everything is connected. Now, let's take all of this and bring it home. The choices you make in your glass may seem small, but over weeks, months, and years, they compound. Each sugary coffee, each can of soda, each energy drink, it's like adding weight to a backpack your heart is carrying, and the backpack never comes off unless you consciously lighten the load. I want you to think of your heart like a precious instrument, a finely tuned piano, constantly playing. Every drink you pour in is like a note. Some notes create harmony, others create dissonance. And the amazing thing is, you get to choose the melody. By replacing harmful drinks with heart-friendly alternatives, you start composing a rhythm of vitality, energy, and resilience. One of the most common questions I get is, "Doctor, how quickly will I see results?" And my answer is honest. You'll feel changes within days, and your long-term health improves over months. For instance, within a week of eliminating sugary drinks, many people notice more stable energy, less brain fog, and reduced bloating. Within a month, blood pressure can start to drop and sleep quality improves. Over time, your arteries become more flexible, inflammation decreases, and your heart simply has to work less hard. I want to be clear. I'm not saying these drinks will immediately cause a heart attack, or that you need to feel guilty about the occasional indulgence life is meant to be enjoyed. But if these drinks are a daily habit, that's where the danger lies. And the best part? You can make changes without giving up all pleasure. It's about smarter choices, not deprivation. Another key tip: when you decide to replace a harmful drink, pair it with an intentional habit. For example, if you're cutting soda from lunch, swap it with sparkling water and a squeeze of lime. If you're replacing an energy drink in the afternoon, add a 10-minute walk. Your body notices the combination of hydration and movement. Your heart responds with lower stress hormones and better circulation. It's a ripple effect. I also encourage you to check the labels of what you're drinking. Even things that seem innocent, flavored waters, kombucha with added sugar, sports drinks, can sneak in sugar, sodium, or stimulants that quietly strain your cardiovascular system. A little awareness goes a long way. Treat your drink choices like you treat the rest of your health, with curiosity, intention, and care. And here's a powerful mental shift that makes a difference. Instead of thinking, "I can't have this," try thinking, "I'm choosing what nourishes me." That subtle change turns restriction into empowerment. You're not giving something up. You're giving your heart exactly what it needs. And when you feel that sense of empowerment, it becomes easier to stick with healthy habits. I also want to touch on stress, because it's intimately connected with the drinks we consume. When we're stressed, many of us reach for sugar, caffeine, or alcohol as quick fixes, but stress itself raises heart rate and blood pressure. The cycle compounds. By replacing these drinks with water, herbal teas, or green tea, you not only reduce the chemical burden on your heart, but you also give yourself a small moment of calm, a pause that tells your body, "I'm taking care of you." Those moments accumulate into a stronger, healthier cardiovascular system. Finally, I want to remind you that heart health is holistic. It's about your diet, your movement, your sleep, your stress management, and yes, the liquids you consume every day. Drinks are sometimes overlooked because they feel trivial, but they carry calories, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and other compounds directly into your bloodstream. What goes in liquid form often hits faster than solid foods, meaning the impact on your heart is immediate. So here's my challenge for you. This week, pick just one drink to replace. Maybe it's your afternoon soda, your morning sweet coffee, or that nightly glass of wine. Swap it for water, herbal tea, or a lightly flavored, unsweetened option. Notice how your energy, mood, and sleep respond. Then the next week, pick another. Small steps add up faster than you think, and your heart will thank you every single day. To summarize everything we've talked about, 5 drinks can quietly harm your heart: sugary beverages, energy drinks, alcohol, commercial fruit juice, and highly processed coffee drinks. Each one contributes to inflammation, spikes blood sugar, strains your blood vessels, and can disturb your heart rhythm. But the good news is, by making mindful swaps and paying attention to hydration, you can reverse much of that damage. Your heart is resilient. It wants to heal. It wants to thrive. And you have the power to give it exactly what it needs. Remember, health isn't about perfection. It's about consistent, intentional choices. Every time you choose water over soda, herbal tea over an energy drink, or a clean coffee over a sugar-laden version, you are investing in a stronger, healthier heart. And over months and years, those investments compound into something incredible: more energy, more vitality, and more life. So, I want to leave you with a question. Which of these 5 drinks will you replace first, and with what? Comment below, share your plan, because putting it into words is the first step toward real change, and know this: you're not alone. Millions of people are making these changes right now, one drink at a time. You can do it too. Your heart works tirelessly for you every single day. It beats over 100,000 times without asking for much in return. The least you can do is give it clean, nourishing fluids to help it thrive. Treat it with care. Choose drinks that hydrate, calm, and balance your body. Notice the difference in your energy, your sleep, and your overall sense of well-being. You have the power to change your heart health, one sip at a time. Start today. Make that first mindful choice. Your heart will thank you, your body will thank you, and months from now, you'll look back and be amazed at how a simple shift in what you drink can transform your life. Thank you for taking the time to invest in your health. I know change can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. One step, one drink, one choice at a time, that's how lasting results happen. Take care of your heart, choose wisely, stay hydrated, and remember, every sip counts.